Mad Wolf here, or Josh, or Joshua Wade, or whatever the hell you want to call me. Um, Today I want to talk about my new book, Blazer Forces NextGen, and this is actually a story that I did in high school, and at that time there was a lot of movies coming out, like Alexander, Troy, and then there was a lot of comic book movies coming out. And I wanted to, in a way, come up with comic book-esque characters, I guess. But more inspired by some of the heroes I grew up with, which I did talk about that in a video I uploaded not too long ago. Namely, Terminator, RoboCop, Ellen Ripley, Judge Dredd, Indiana Jones, and Jake Preston from Firebirds. But yeah, so I wanted to do a story of characters I kind of looked up to, certain situations that, would test them, push them, to the breaking point. Maybe they would overcome it, maybe they would suck down. But in a nutshell, these 4 teenagers, technically 5, I just kind of ran out of room and I didn't want to put another person cramming in there. But these teenagers, they kind of discover each other at an orphanage after events kind of shook up their families. One of them is kind of like an undercover agent for a police detective who wants to find out what the hell's going on at this orphanage, because people are actually acting very secretive. And in the end, it winds up turning out like there's all these loopholes in bureaucracy. It's kind of a conspiracy thing going on. And it gets into this thing about, okay, well, we have these people who they can't act, they can't enforce the law, they can't protect the country or anything like that because of all these loopholes and this bureaucracy that's been set up. So, you have this group that actually will put their foot down and step in if others cannot act. It gets a little bit more into things than that, but that's pretty much the nutshell. And basically these teenagers, they're doing what they can. They're trying to figure out what they can do to help in what must seem like a very hopeless kind of world and where nothing gets done. That said, a lot of people who know me have to know this character, which is Gemini Davidson. I've released some Wolfenstein 3D mods with Gemini, and some of which even starred myself as the character, because I kind of patterned his appearance off of myself. In a way, all these characters are little bits and pieces of myself, and then stuff I came up with, stuff I didn't come up with, some stuff that came true to things I was dealing with earlier in my life. And so Gemini Davidson, he was kind of based off of myself with the whole, at the time I was dyeing my hair black, and I'm just like, you know what, yeah, I'll just throw myself in the Wolfenstein 3D mod. So, embarrassingly enough, people probably know of this character from that. This is kind of their origin story, though, so I think that's pretty nifty to finally get that out there. And this was, I said it earlier, but this was in fact a story I did in high school. I actually did a 66-page novella as my senior project. It never got published. I did it as kind of like a assignment, and I really wanted to always go back and retell the story as, full on. I don't know what that is, 250 pages, I don't know, 212, something like that. But I wanted to go back and retell these characters because I do think there's a lot of positivity in here. I do feel there's a lot of people don't have to be blood to be family, and you don't have to be related to someone to look after them, stuff like that. There's a lot of things in there. Matter of fact, I dedicated this to two people, Justin and Richard. Justin is someone who I got to know as a teenager, and I don't know, I kind of look at him like a big brother figure. And Richard is someone I grew up with. He was kind of like an uncle character for me, and he was a really cool guy. He's very dedicated to Christianity, and you know, he loves his family very much, and you know, so that's why I dedicated it to them. Is these two people, not blood relatives at all, and I still got a lot of respect and a lot of love for them in my heart. So yeah, and you know, in a nutshell, maybe that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do these characters. It's not like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles where they're brothers. No, these are completely different characters that just kind of come together and, you know, try to help each other out, try to teach each other things. Sakura, who's pretty much the martial artist slash strategist, she's very intelligent of the group. There's even a scene with that. She doesn't understand guns, yet Gemini Davidson, who's a mechanic, is like, look, you know, just calm down, it's just a machine, and blah 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 blah. And she's supposed to be the leader, she's supposed to be the one in charge. But my point is, these characters have their own strengths and weaknesses, and some of them shine where others do not. And I feel that's true with family, and that's true with you know, people we surround ourselves with. You know, sometimes the people we work with, they might be better at, say, sending emails than stocking the fridge. I'm trying to spitball what people do at work, because I'm trying not to get into my work. By the way, I just got done 6 days of work, so I'm still a little bit pooped out. But yeah, so if any of that sounds interesting, you could find this book on Amazon, and it's the Blazer Forces Next Gen. Specifically, just look up the name, Joshua Waight, Waight. Or you could just click the link in the description below. I don't know, I'm tired, I need to get some food in my belly. But if it sounds interesting, just check it out. I did the artwork. The only thing I don't like is this, the yellow top, because somehow I guess it did not get lined up correctly. Could have swore I lined it up correctly. There is no page count, just like Tale of Wolf. The reason being is every time I tried to put a page count on the pages, it totally screws up the format of the paragraphs and everything. So it makes it very difficult. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. And I hope you enjoyed this. If you're more interested in kind of the characters I grew up with and the characters I looked up to as heroes, definitely check out the video Howling Mad Heroes, or My Heroes. Because yeah, it does talk about the characters and the movies they're from of when I was growing up. So anyway, I hope you found this interesting, maybe a little entertaining, and hope to see you again sometime. Take care.